We were hoping for a better start this year. Hoping, you've been rebuilding here for a while. 3 years since you traded Soto. At some point, that has to calculate into wins. And starting the season 1-6 is usually not the correct sign that you're headed towards a better season. But they're on the uptrend now, Andy.
They are. We're fresh off the Diamondback series. They were finally able to win their first series of the year. Two very close games against a well put together Arizona Diamondbacks team that was in the World Series 2 years ago. This was a rough start for the 2025 Washington Nationals. The offense took a little while to get going. They had a tough go at it against the Phillies, and then they went up north above the border. They got swept by the Blue Jays, and they came back to the district 1-5, and they dropped the Friday opener against the Arizona Diamondbacks. It was like, wow, this is as bad as you could have gone. You're losing 6 of your first 7 games coming right off the bat. And, they kind of found their offense again against Arizona in that series. But I think the biggest thing about the Nationals so far has been the flip flop of what we saw. We got to see a lot better from the starting pitchers. The bats haven't been there to start, but they're starting to pick up some steam as we speak. But I kind of buried the lead right there when you were kind of tossing this up. Yeah, they have to start winning baseball games. Since 2020, they have been the all-time worst team across Major League Baseball, and that's 5 seasons. That's a big enough sample size to say that, yeah, this team's been rebuilding for quite a while. So the Nationals have to find ways to start winning baseball games. They have to do it in a way that brings fans back to the stadium. They have to do it in a way that said this worked out. Trading Juan Soto was a good deal. And if they can find their identity, they're a fun, young team that can provide good moments. They have enough stars that if they blossom, they can definitely be not a face of the league, but they could be a reason why people tune in to watch the Washington Nationals. But I say all these things, and then I remember that we're only 10 games into it of a 162 game season. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Didn't get a really good first leg off the dash, but if they're able to find some success and play some really good baseball, finish above 80 wins this season, I think you look at this Nationals team and you say, yeah, they're moving in the right direction.
I think the big thing is really just how are some of these young guys playing. Obviously, at some point, the rebuild does need to calculate into wins. But I think even if you're going 500, if some of these young guys are playing good ball and you just need to bring in veterans, you can feel a little bit better about yourself. And that's kind of what it's been so far to me is, how's James Woods playing and, if Woods playing well, how is Dylan Cruz playing, you know, and I think that was the big topic there, at least through the first 2 series. Got some really big hits that he needed in that Arizona series because I know that was a topic we had been texting about and talking about is, Dylan Cruz, I think was the last qualified hitter to get a hit this season. I think is a stat I saw. I mean, horrible striking out. I think that was a concerning start. But other than that, I've been fine with how a lot of these young guys have started off and how they're playing. I think Jacob Young is exactly what I expect Jacob Young to be at this point. And if he's hitting 100, he's hitting 100. But guess what? He's really good out in the field. So it is what it is, I guess. I think it is still about the youngsters for now. And I think it really helps, truthfully, just having that first overall pick and knowing that after all this fun time of having these guys, well, you also have, potentially Ethan Holiday coming in, and you have some other guys that I think eventually you need to see. I think, Robert Hassel is one of them. Brady House, I think, is a big one that kind of, I think we kind of need to see Brady House this year almost, it feels like at this point. I feel like we've been talking about him too long now to not. But I think this year's in that weird gray area where you have to be better. You have to be better. You're not going to be the Orioles where you just pulled up all your good players at once and all of a sudden these dudes are, rolling the way they were. But you need to see progress from these guys. And that progress can't just be good progress. That progress needs to be more wins.
And yeah, wins speak volumes. They speak about everything that the team is building for. And that's exactly a good point there, Jackson. I mean, we got to see Mackenzie Gore really start off the season with a bang. CJ Abrams has been a guy that we've seen at the major league level for now about 3 or 4 years now. This is his third full season with the Nationals, which is just crazy to think about. And then James Wood's the guy that you're really expecting this year to be that guy who can just at any moment change the course of the game. He
He just
hasn't
hit a
been
home
able to do
run
that.
as we're
Oh,
recording. He just hit
oh,
a home
this
run.
that's perfect. This changes my whole narrative. But no, that's great. They're playing the Dodgers right now in the first game of the series. So,
Bottom seven, Nats up 5-2. If you want his timestamp, that's where we're at.
oh, there you go. You know, if they beat the Dodgers in 2 games at home, I saw this crazy stat. The last 13 games, the Dodgers at Nats Park, the Dodgers won 11 of them. Now, it isn't surprising because the Nationals haven't been great, but you would hope to have a little bit of an opportunity with the West Coast team in the second game or the second series away from home that they might feel a little homesick. No, congratulations to the Dodgers. They got to visit the White House today. That was pretty cool. Whenever you get to go to DC after winning a championship, you get to visit the White House. Uh, but yeah, right now the Nationals are looking good, Jackson. So that's awesome. And I think that James Wood at that moment could be the guy to send home any runs, like he just did about a few minutes ago. Dylan Cruz is the guy that people are excited about. But you know, his problem is that he's always going to be compared between Paul Skeens and Wyatt Langford, who are the guys that are the first pick and the third pick of that same draft. It's taking Cruz a little bit longer to get going in Major League Baseball, but he looks like he's a good defender, and he started making contact in the series finale against the Diamondbacks. So that's promising stuff as well. And then you mentioned it. The biggest thing about the Nationals this year is that you have that first overall pick. You have your opportunity to go at it. And it can be a player that can truly launch this team away from the rebuild and compete for the NL East. It's a very tough division. The Phillies are going to be around for another 3 to 4 years. Juan Soto is going to be around for the next decade and a half. So don't wish that that's going to be anything good. The Braves are always a very talented team, and then we're bound for the Marlins to find a way to win some baseball games to win another World Series or something like that down the road, because it has been a couple of years since that. But it's a great division. The NL West is also very talented. It's a very tough league to play baseball in. But truth of the matter, you hit the nail on the head. You have to start winning baseball games. You have to start finding ways to find trust in this process, and that the players, the organization, the fans, everybody knows that it's working towards the right direction.